They don't have any. So now what they're alluding to is that, hey, we didn't have content in the past, so I'm going to show you 22 40/47 games that, since we don't have any in the past, you can't say, well, man, I can't. That the first one was so good and it's an ongoing series, because they don't have any ongoing series. So they're creating new ones, and so that's what I got for them. They got 22 very new concepts. Maybe 15 of the 22 are very new concepts that I wouldn't be able to tell you right now the name of what it was about, because they're quick clips just like any other E3.
And also they were new, and that's the only thing that I had against PlayStation. Right, was that like all of the PlayStation games to me arguably looked better than any one game that was shown on the Xbox stage, but. These are the same games that they announced at last year's E3, and they didn't do anything new.
No, I'm not trying to make an argument for PlayStation. I'm just saying make a basic argument, just saying that Xbox releasing 22 games is the reason
we can disagree
win.
on the show, babies. Yeah. That's what this is for. We're just chatting. We're arguing. It's a good thing.
Don't you do that?
It's a beautiful thing. Discussion. Now, I will say in the Nintendo world. They blew my mind too. I mean, because they typically play it so safe. They typically only show exactly what you're expecting them to show. Like, I was expecting Super Mario or Mario Odyssey, and that's it, really. Yeah. Maybe a couple mentions of games that are out now, like ARMS or something. The fact that they lifted the lid on Metroid, which I know we'll get into that in a second. Did they actually lift the lid on Metroid, or did they just show the name Metroid and got people excited? They announced that they're working on a Pokemon game, which we could all probably have assumed was happening, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there were some things that I think initially I was really hyped for that has sort of since waned. Like, I think Buddy and I in our reaction show were so hyped about Metroid and all these other games that they announced, but then we're like, well, I mean, Xbox could have said that Halo 6 is coming out at theirs, but they didn't. I mean, we all know it's coming out, but we didn't say it or anything like that.
But if you're gonna see, you said that.
Oh, sorry. Also, just what I'm thinking of it. Also, Xbox saying that the original Xbox is going to be backwards compatible is huge. No system right now is doing like a 3 generations backwards compatibility.
Unless you download the new game.
Well, PlayStation is you can rent them on the PlayStation. I don't know what that's called. They have like a service.
Well, the physical discs.
No, I know what you're saying, but backwards compatible. What I'm saying, like, whatever that PlayStation service is where you can go back and rent like PlayStation 2 games.
PlayStation Now.
Yeah, or something like that.
I don't think it's PlayStation 2 though. I think
PlayStation 3. I have no idea, but I'm just saying. Whatever, not the physical disc thing, but...
Wait, what competed with PlayStation 2? That was Xbox, right? Okay, I'm losing my mind. Yes, that was Xbox that competed with PlayStation 2.
Because I thought you could play PlayStation 2 rent them through that service. Maybe. I might be wrong.
We're saying that it's... I mean, this generation's so far back. So Nintendo never has a chance to do it because their cartridges change every system.
Yeah.
They have no chance to be able to...
They love it when you buy the same game 900 times.
Yeah, so you have to re-buy that game over and over and over if you want to play. That's the nice thing about the other two systems. They could potentially do it, and they're trying to.
So Nintendo. So I almost want to give it to Nintendo, but when I pull back the smoke and mirrors of what they did, it was a little cheap. So I don't think I'm actually going to give it to Nintendo still, because Mario Odyssey has a great chance, I think, for us to give Best in Show to. I mean, it looks wonderful. It looks amazing. We knew that. We knew it was going to be amazing, right? What were you going to say, Blev?
No, a lot of places have given that the title for E3 is Mario Odyssey. Mm-hmm. I agree with you on a point, but I still feel like it's still a toss-up between all three of them, because all of them had bits and pieces of nice things they actually presented, but I will give the slide to more of Microsoft over PlayStation, because the release of their new system, and it's better than the Pro, and the titles they've released, even though... Because of PlayStation basically saying, from the last E3, here's what we've improved on these games that we're going to be releasing in 2018 or 2019. Yeah. Who knows? So
sorry, go ahead.
No, so the Nintendo for me is like, all the things they talked about in Mario Odyssey, and actually the Link game I haven't played yet, make me want to go out and purchase the Switch to play these games for future, because it's like, I had a Wii U from a friend, and he took it back, and I was like, man, I really miss playing Smash Brothers. But then it's like, if they talked about Smash Brothers at E3, just because it's a re-release or even a new one, I would have been like, I'm fucking buying a Switch. I don't give a shit.
If they would have mentioned it in the same way that they mentioned Pokemon. If
or Metro.
Hi, I'm Hideki.
Yeah,
so racist. But I am from the Nintendo Japan studio, and I just want to, the same way they did Pokemon. I just want to let you know that we're working on bringing a brand new Super Smash Brothers experience coming out in 2020. Would you be like, fuck, all right,
I'm buying a Switch
now.
Yeah,
Like,
I would totally do that.
and I think a
just to
lot of
jump on
people
it.
probably felt that way when they saw Metroid, and a lot of people felt that way when they heard Pokemon was coming out. So I think you bring up a great point, Blev. Like, Nintendo came at this thing from, which let's all remember is the point. Nintendo came at this from a strictly business standpoint and said, remember all the reasons why you believe in us.
Yeah.
We're going to show you all the reasons again why you believe in Nintendo. You know that you're going to get a great Mario game. You know that you just got a great Zelda game, and we brought you Mario Kart. But we're going to remind you that all of the best franchises that you love to play are on Nintendo, and we're not going to let you down.
Yeah.
That was sort of their message, you know what I mean, for E3. So that's a great point.
But Sony had a potential to even get me. So like I
let's
would-
shift gears to Sony.
Yeah, and so I liked and disliked the Spider-Man trailer, and I'll get to that later why. But
And you've always been, to preface even further, you've always been like, I've gotten out of you a few times that you're like, fuck yeah, that game does look pretty cool with PlayStation.
The Last of Us, they
Last
fucking
of Us.
dropped the ball on that.
Yeah,
where was
yeah.
that shit?
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that was
so
shocking.
they had Spider-Man.
Blev and I talked about
the
that
Spider-Man. Yeah, you guys did talk about it. They had Spider-Man, which is like, ugh, that's an exclusive. Shit, I can't believe I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I was going to ask to borrow somebody's PlayStation for it or have to buy it myself, but I would love to play that game. Last of Us 2, I would love to play the first one. I watched you play the whole game, so maybe I don't need to get that game, but I loved it. And
I think Days Gone was cool too.
Yeah, so there was some games. Now, I'm not a God of War fan. I did play it a little bit.
But how fucking good did that look?
Yeah, and so
Basically a
it did.
remake,
I don't want to shit on Sony's parade. They had some moments where I was like, kind of wish their controller was better because I'd have one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's me personally. I know everybody.
Okay, with that, like, have you played on the Pro yet? Because they reduced the width.
It doesn't feel
I mean,
bulky.
it's just personal. I mean, I'm just, when I say it's a bad controller, it's just me. I just don't feel comfortable with it.
There's actually a big divide out there between people who love the Xbox controller and people who love the PlayStation controller, and it's all because of thumbstick placement. Think
That's
about
exactly what it is.
It's
It's
staggered sticks. Why it's a staggered stick camper, and you might be a parallel stick camper.
Yeah,
you know
and
what I mean?
that's all it is to me.
Yeah.
It's not a bad controller. So when I say it's a bad controller, it's not. It's not a slight to them. It's just not for me,
think
and then it pisses me off that I can't play that system because I hate that controller.
No, but
That's all it
like
is.
the accuracy level of an Xbox controller over PS4, I would slide that over to Xbox because of the placement of the analog. You know, if PlayStation would move the analog where the D-pad is, it would make it a lot more easier to be more accurate when actually shooting.
So think about how weird that would
it
be.
would be weird as shit, but I think it'd be cool.
I mean, if there was a way to, like, if they had a non-micro or non-Sony, like one of those off-brand controllers that I could use instead, that was exactly or if not extremely similar to the new Wii controller or the new Switch controller or an Xbox controller, I probably would get a PlayStation. But since they're so, all the off-brands are so similar, I
sent a controller over to Brogan.
Oh, you might, yeah, you would actually
you might
probably
like
this.
It's wired though, but there's no latency.
I don't care if it's
I know,
wired.
but there's no latency on it. But it looks like an Xbox controller.
Ooh. So then I'll see how Spider-Man does, and like I said, we'll get to it later.
Dude, Spider-Man to me, I felt like it was. I wish it was a little bit more dark. You know, like Arkham a little bit. I just feel like it was.
See, that's a good controller.
We're looking at the for people listening.
$100, holy
sent this
shit.
to me.
It's weighted too. You can actually put weights in it and make it like the weight
I'll do
you
that
want to
in my-
feel.
This is the Nacon Revolution Pro Controller Gamepad.
I'm just gonna
PlayStation
buy
4
that
eSport
controller for when I
design.
come over here because I lose it.
I think you can use it on your PC if you wanted to. Too.
Well, yeah, my Xbox. It's the cool thing about my Xbox controllers. You can plug it right in, and Steam games like Overwatch and stuff like that, Blizzard, they automatically recognize it and auto adjust the.
Oh, they map? That's
map
cool.
it for
So
you.
here's how the stars are starting to align for me, and in my understanding of this console generation, and maybe my understanding of these brands in general. And I kind of wanted to dig into this with you guys a little bit after E3. And tell me if you agree or disagree. But what I'm starting to see, what I'm starting to believe, is that PlayStation, far and away, is the home of cinematic gaming. It is the home of playing a single-player experience that you're going to pop into your home theater system, you know, in surround sound, sit back, crack open a beer, and sit back on your couch, lay back on your couch, and hold a controller and play a game, right? Xbox is becoming the console for people who want to play PC games but don't want to buy a PC. It's becoming a multiplayer console. Now, I'm not saying PlayStation doesn't have great multiplayer titles. They really do. But I think Xbox and Xbox One is the home of competitive console gaming. I think competitive console gaming. I would venture to guess, and this might be totally wrong. Someone can fact check me on this, but I really, oh buddy, I miss you. Somebody can fact check me on this, but I really, I would venture to guess that a game like Call of Duty, the majority of players are playing on an Xbox, maybe PC, but in console world,
with Call of Duty though, it comes out first on PlayStation. But yeah, to your point, like at the beginning, at the beginning, Xbox One was more the entertainment. They were like going at it from an entertainment level of we want to connect to your TV. We want to be your entertainment system.
Yep, you're
not
right.
really a gaming system.
We want to take over your living room.
Yeah. But now it's kind of like doing a reverse effect where Sony. I agree somewhat to your point, but I still feel like they're still on the leaning towards the pro gamers and stuff like that, and actually more the entertainment value in playing a game. But now with the Xbox One X coming out, that is more like what you're saying now. Now Xbox is realizing, okay, entertainment is entertainment. People can get it wherever they want, on their phone, on their TV, on a tablet. We want to focus on actual gaming. We want to focus on actual games and not just the cinematics, you know?
And that's what their message was loud and clear at E3 this year, too. So, and then, Nintendo
it's kind of a weird pivot.
Yeah, Nintendo is in no way related to any of this, because I would venture to guess that most serious gamers that are either in the Xbox camp or the PlayStation camp also have a Nintendo Switch. or there's probably not a lot of soul or Nintendo. Wyatt is not liking this beer.
No. I just want you to try it. It's
okay,
blueberry
wild blue premium blueberry lager. I hate blueberries as a
Me too. They make you fart.
You hate blueberries? What?
I do.
They make you fart?
I made that up.
Okay.
We're
gonna get rid of everybody who eats blueberries because they make you fart.
It's actually a pretty nice after. It's sweet.
So do you mind if I jump?
Holy shit, that's good.
Is that, yeah, you like it?
That is delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
So yeah, just to wrap up my thought, in main reasons being like a game like Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown, or PlayerUnknown Battleground. Which way is it?
PlayerUnknown.
PlayerUnknown Battleground, whatever. A game like that coming over to Xbox is, a really good barometer for my argument right here. That's saying, look, and the fact that the Xbox One X, for the kind of power it gives, and I'll defer to you on this, Wyatt, but for the power it gives at the price, could you build a PC that does all of that for $500?
Yeah.
that runs that solidly at 4K, 60 frames per second, that stably like consoles do?
You could, if you bare bones the console, yes. But you got to think there's prices that go into consoles that like a nice gaming keyboard, a gaming mouse, and a gaming monitor. So if you're looking at just the tower itself and just a shitty case, you could get
my buddy said, yeah, because I was talking to my buddy. He called me last night. My buddy Matt Sneddon. He called me and he's like, "Hey man, have you built a PC yet?" And I was like, "What do I tell him? And I was like, "No, I haven't started that yet, but I really want to get into it." And he's like, "Yeah, we can get you a rig, really, really like around like $500 to run anything. It would be awesome."
Okay, so the definition of running anything, for example,
we'll be able to run majority of games.
My old PC was a decently powerful PC, and I couldn't run the new StarCraft II Legacy of the Void on high quality. But I could still play it, and so the definition of playing everything is tough. So you could. I'd say to do what the Xbox does realistically, without going bargain shopping and bare bones skeleton it, you're gonna probably pay $700-800 outside of the extra equipment you're gonna buy for monitors and keyboards and speakers and stuff.
So back to my buddy Matt. He sent me this Reddit, and it's called PC Master Race. And what they do is they have like an algorithm that goes through and pulls the best parts for the cheapest price out. And so they show you rigs to build for like from $400, $500, $600 all the way up to like $1,800 of like the obviously $1,800 is probably like the best of the best PC that you can actually build right now with the cheapest but best equipment. So it's called PC Master Race, and basically they list out like for $400 this will be this, you could run these games, you could run at this speed, you can run at 4K or whatever.
Well, there's also other things to consider with a PC, because first of all, I can get a PC that does what an Xbox does, but I won't have a liquid cooling system like the PC does, or like the Xbox does. So that would chuck a little bit more money into mine if I want that. I also can do video games on 32 gig hard drive, or a solid state drive, or a 64 gig hard. All of those are different prices, but I don't need a very good one or anything to do that, but it's better to have a solid state drive than a 32 gig. So there's other aspects to it. So it's hard for the convenience of an Xbox and the power you get with it is where, and for that price is just it's bold and very convenient. And I think a decent price. I think a very, very decent price.
So is this, from a PC player's standpoint, is this a